Om Sai Ram and a warm welcome to the fourth week or fourth episode of Sri Ram Vijay lecture series. Today, let us again dive deep into the nectar leelas of Maryada Purushottam Sri Ramji. Before we begin with this undertaking, let us invoke the blessings of our dear Lord Sainath Maharaj, without whose blessings and mercy this endeavor will never be successful. Let us bow down to his holy lotus feet and invoke his blessings so that this lila or pastime of Sri Ramji and the incidents of Ramayana reach the ears of the devotees and purify them. May the blessings of Lord Sri Sainath shower on all the devotees throughout the world. Om Sai Ram. So today we are going to begin with the 10th chapter or Adhyay 10 of the Ram Vijay Granth. In this chapter, we will see about King Padmaksha. So, what is the story all about? It's an incident from Ramayana. So, let us continue with our stories. So, there was a king called Padmaksh. One day, he said to Lakshmi, the wife of Vishnu, I wish you would be born in my family and become my daughter. Lakshmi Devi replied, If I be born in your family and I become your daughter, you will be miserable. I have, however, no objection to become your daughter, if my husband tells me to do so. Whereupon the king performed a severe penance to gain the favor of Vishnu, who was pleased with him, and gave him a fruit, which the king took at home and kept it with him. After 9 months, the fruit bore a female child. Who was this female child? It was Mahalakshmi and none else. The king, having got a daughter, became exceedingly glad and named the daughter Padmakshi. She grew up and became marriageable. Right? She was eligible for marriage. So many kings, demigods, rishis requested her father to give her away in marriage to them. But he refused to comply with their request, saying that he would marry her to a man whose body was dark blue. Who was it? It was none other than Sri Ramji. So, at this refusal, all the kings, the devatas, the demigods rather, or the rishis who came to marry Padmakshi, they got enraged and killed the king on the spot. Whereupon, his daughter threw herself into a havan in which the consecrated fire was burning. So, seeing the miserable condition of her father, that he died, he was being killed by all the suitors who came to marry her, she dived into the burning fire, which was the sacred fire which was burning. At that time, Ravana happened to look at her and was captivated with her charms. So she was so beautiful that her charm enchanted Ravana. He immediately extinguished the fire with a view to catch her, but she disappeared. She was a chaste woman, after all. So he found in the Havan fire 5 ratnas. What are ratnas? Ratnas are precious stones or gems. So these ratnas, Ravan took it with himself and he gave it to his wife Mandodari. The 5 ratnas were placed by Ravana and his wife in a box, and soon after that they found to their great surprise that a female child played in it with pleasure. So they had kept the 5 ratnas in a box, and after, with the passage of time, they found that there was a little child playing inside the box. Ravana lifted the child, but Mandodari said, If you keep this child here, the whole of Lanka will be set on fire. The kingdom of Padmaksha was annihilated on account of this particular child. and the poor king was killed by the kings and demigods who had gone there to marry her. I therefore propose that the box should be thrown somewhere else. So Mandodari was right on her part that this child brought a misfortune. Many mishaps happened in the previous kingdom wherever she was there, in King Padmaksha's kingdom. So the miserable death of King Padmaksha, the annihilation of the entire kingdom, it was all the result of this particular child. Because the demigods, the kings, they came to marry her and the king rejected. Ravana was alarmed and ordered his minister to bury the box in the kingdom of Janak, who was the bitterest enemy of the demon king. King Janak was Sita Maiya's father. So here comes the pastime of Sita Mata's birth right now. Because as you know, this particular box where Ravan kept the five Ratnas was ultimately the part and parcel of Mata Lakshmi, and it was all the part of the divine plan. So the men lifted up the box, and the child said, so the little child was able to speak. What she said? I shall again come here and extirpate all the demons. Ravana got enraged and was about to kill the child when Mandodari prevented him from doing so. So the child, drastically, all of a sudden, the child said that I'll come back over here to this particular kingdom and I'll extirpate all the demons over here. The box was then carried at night and buried in the field presented by Janak to a Brahmin. One day, while the Brahmin was ploughing his field, he found the box and carried it to the king. The box was opened, and to the great surprise and astonishment of all, a girl of the age of 5 years was found in it. As soon as the king saw her, he was moved with affection and brought her up as his daughter. So this particular 5-year-old girl who was taken out from the box was none other than Janaki, the daughter of King Janak, who was, as we had mentioned earlier, was the bitterest enemy of Ravana, which is why Ravana ordered the box to be thrown in his kingdom. So with this, we conclude the 10th adhyay of the Granth and we begin with the 11th adhyay. One day, Parshuram, having killed the Kshatriyas on earth, came to the kingdom of Janak. He went into the palace with the king to take dinner. And when he came out after the dinner, he found that someone had removed the Dhanusha placed by him at the court of the king. So he had carried his Dhanush or the bow along with him for the dinner. And after the dinner, when he came out, he saw that the bow was misplaced. It was moved, it was shifted from one place to another. So he was greatly enraged and said, who has taken my Dhanusha? It is so heavy that it cannot be removed even by thousands of elephants. So saying this, he came out of the court with the king to look for it. But to his great surprise, he saw the little girl riding it. The little girl, that same little girl, that 5-year-old girl, Mata Sita, who was none other than Mata Lakshmi, Devi Mahalakshmi. So where is the power of 1,000 elephants? Let it go. She was Mahashakti, she was Mahalakshmi. So nothing was impossible for him. So he saw the girl riding on it. No sooner did she behold her father than she left the Dhanusha there and ran away. The moment the little girl saw her father Janak approaching the place, she left that spot. Immediately she ran away. Seeing this, Parshuram said to the king, "My incarnation is now over. Let the Dhanusha be here. I now advise you to hold a Swayamvar." Swayamvar is a ceremony where, in a public assembly, a female chooses her spouse. It's according to the Vedic culture, the Indian custom of selecting one's bridegroom. So many suitors come together and gather at a particular assembly, and the female who is supposed to be married carries a flower garland along with her, and she offers the garland to the suitor, whoever deserves it. So Parshuram ordered to marry his daughter, King Janak's daughter, to any man who will lift up the bow and break it off. So saying, Parshuram left for his abode. So he went to the abode, which is Vaikuntha, because Parshuram was none other than Lord Mahavishnu's avatar. So this was the story of the bow or the Dhanushvan, which remained in King Janak's palace. So after which he went back to his abode. Soon after that, the king held a Swayamvar and invited all the kings and rishis on the earth. It was a grand Swayamvar. So everyone was invited. We too are going there only, concluded Vishwamitra. So Vishwamitra Muni, he was walking with Lord Ram and Lakshman towards that Swayamvar. Rishi Vishwamitra said that we are also going there. All attended the Swayamvar, including Ravana, who came there without any invitation. So he had come here just without invitation. He was not called. He was not even called there. The king told the assembly that Sita would be married to any man who would lift up the Dhanusha and break it off. Many kings attempted to lift it up, but they all failed in their attempt. Ravana then stepped forward and loudly said with pride and vanity, "This bow is a trifling thing to me." That means it is totally insignificant. It doesn't require any strength at all. So it was a trifle thing for him. "I shall break it off in a second. I know you weak kings and rishis, you will not be able to lift it up. It is I who would lift up the Dhanusha and break it off. Sita will be my wife, and I shall be her husband." So saying, he began to lift up the Dhanusha with all the strength and force. So Ravana already knew Mata Sita before the Sita Haran. So these are the behind the scenes of Ravana, you may say. So he tried to lift up the Dhanusha with his strength and force. All his power was utilized in it. While he was lifting it up, it fell heavily on his breast, and consequently he panted for breath and implored others to help him. So he was under the Dhanusha now. The Dhanusha fell upon his chest, because of which he was unable to breathe even. He was about to die. When Rama immediately removed it, and at the suggestion of Vishwamitra, broke it into two pieces. Sita, who was seated all the time on the back of an elephant, put the garland in her hands round the neck of Ram. When Ravan returned to Lanka with shame and confusion, Janak informed Dashrath of the Swayamvar and requested him to come to Mithila to celebrate the marriage of his son with Sita. Dashratha, full of joy, went to Mithila with his wives, sons, and courtiers. Soon after, Ram was married to Sita, and Varmila Malithi, and Shrutakirti, the other daughters of Janak, were married to Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna respectively. So Ram and his brothers had their marriage in the same mandap with the sisters of Mata Sita. So it was a sight for the gods to see. It was a grand marriage ceremony in Mithila. So now, with this, we start with chapter 12. Ram knew that Parshuram would come and fight with him on account of the Dhanusha he had broken. And therefore, he did not like to stay there any longer at Mithila. But at the request of his father-in-law, he stayed there for a few more days. In the meantime, Narada went to Parshuram and told him that a man called Ram had broken his Dhanusha. Now let me clear a confusion over here. Ramji and Parshuram both were Lord Vishnu's incarnations. It was all the part of the divine plan. They were not at all bitter enemies. They knew each other very well, that we are all the part and parcel of the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Mahavishnu. So it was just a pastime, a lila, to set an example and to give us this noble form of worship, the epic called Ramayana. So it was all the part of the divine plan. So now let me continue with my story. So Ram stayed there with after his father-in-law requested him. And on the other side, what happened? Narada went to Parshuram and told him that a man named Ram had broken his Dhanusha. He was greatly enraged at this news. And having come to Mithila, he picked up a great row about the Dhanusha. So he started shouting that who has broken my Dhanusha? To foment the quarrel, Narada told him that Rama had broken the bow and that he was so proud that he did not even come down to receive him. So Narada was continuously encouraging him to fight with Ram. Parshuram got indignant and let off arrows at Ram. So he started shooting series of arrows towards Lord Ram, which melted away as soon as the latter saw them. Like whenever the arrows reached near Lord Ram, immediately they melted away, just as it happens to the dry grass before fire. So it was a terrible situation over there. What happened next? Let's see. Purushottam, knowing that his enemy or the companion, the opponent who was shooting an arrow, was none other than Lord Parshuram. And on the other hand, Parshuram also came to know that it was Ramji. Parshuram, knowing that his incarnation was over, that his avatar lila had ended up in this earth, that Ramji had already come, what he did? He laid down his arms and weapons. And right after that, Lord Ram came down and embraced him heartily. Soon after that, Dashratha, accompanied by his wives and sons, returned to Ayodhya with exultation and joy. The king had invited to the marriage of Ram his brother-in-law, whose name was Sangramjit, who requested the former to send Bharat and Shatrughan to spend a few days with him. So Sangramjit was the brother-in-law of King Dashrath, who had requested King Dashrath to send Bharat and Shatrughan to spend a few days with him. Dashrath bade his sons to go with him, though they were unwilling to part with his brothers, Ram and Lakshman, even for a single moment. Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughan, they were very close. Their relationship was very, very pure. And all the three brothers loved Lord Ram. And they were devoted to Lord Ram so much that they were even not willing to part with Lord Ram. They were such devotees. Such was their mentality towards Lord Ram. Kaikeyi pressed her sons to go with her brother, and then they accordingly went with him. Ram and Lakshman were very obedient to their parents and served them with all their heart and soul. One day the king, looking at his old age, made up his mind to install Ram in the throne of Ayodhya. So one day, thinking about his old age, king of Ayodhya, which is Raja Dashrath, one day made up his mind that I will do the Rajyabhishek or the coronation ceremony of my elder son Ram, and I'll make him the king of Ayodhya. He made every preparation to perform the ceremony of installation and invited all the kings and rishis on the earth. All the gods and Brahmins were afraid that if Ram was installed in the throne of Ayodhya, he would not go to Lanka and relieve them from the oppression of the demons. So next, there will be a twist in the story. As we all know what the future events are going to be, but we will go to the future events in much more detail, as we have been doing so since the beginning of this series. So let us see next week what happens after this. So these episodes are going on like a TV serial, I guess. Everyone is in suspense. What will happen next? What will happen next? Although we know the story of Ramayana, but still, we are curious enough to know much more in depth about the stories. I guess many people did not know about the birth of Mata Sita, how she was transferred inside a box from Lanka to King Janak's kingdom, and how she herself predicted as a young child that I will return here and I'll make sure that this Lanka of the demons is destroyed. So everything, please note my words, everything was a part of Lord's divine plan. He is all perfect. As I have mentioned the term Purushottam in the beginning of this episode today. Purushottam means a man who is all perfect, without any imperfection. That was Sri Ram. So nothing was beyond his plan. Everything was predestined, everything was set. Everything was fixed that these are the events that are going to happen. And Sita Mata, being Lakshmi Mata herself, knew everything. So let us see next week what happens in the 5th episode of Sri Ram Vijay lecture series. Thank you so much for being a part of this video. Your kind patience in watching the video has encouraged us to undertake this. Without the blessings of Sri Ram and his Kali Yuga incarnation, Lord Sri Sainath Maharaj, this undertaking would not have been possible. My heartiest thanks again to Baba for enabling us to undertake this work, as well as the devotees, you all, who are hearing this with intense devotion, faith, and longing for Sri Ram's darshan. I guess you all are imagining those situations which had happened during that time. May Baba bless all of you. May he shower his choicest blessings on you and your family. Om Sai Ram. Thank you so much.